Hi guys. So I wanted to explain a little bit about this house. I think that a lot of people are confused whenever I'm working on doing the renovation projects, thinking that I'm doing all these things as final choices, final decisions. And right now, our only objective is to get this house livable. So our other house is currently actively on the market. So when you have a small farm, you have to really be able to kind of juggle a gazillion different things all at the same time. I set you guys up here so that way you guys can watch the snowfall. It's really pretty. Just ignore that roll of fencing that's sitting right there. Um, but so everything's a little bit more complicated when you have as much livestock as we do. So we have, I would guesstimate somewhere around 100 something animals, between like the chickens and the goats and the ducks and the geese and the rabbits, the dogs and the cats. That's a lot of beings that we have to make sure that are going to be safe, protected, and comfortable. So me and Tracy, we can put up with a lot of discomfort, but our animals, they cannot. So I'm kind of jumping all over the place with this project and with the renovations here based off of what the weather is doing. So like week before last, I ran all of the fencing that was needed. So in that way, I was able to basically make hay when the sun was shining. I know what Ohio weather does. I know what the winters usually do, that we usually have a several week period of a deep freeze. Right now we are in that period. So I knew like, it is all within the realm of possibilities that once our house is listed, that someone could come in with a cash offer. I don't know who's got that kind of cash laying around, but people do. And stuff that somebody could do basically what we did here. We didn't have cash. We did a home equity line of credit and weird stuff, but it was essentially a cash offer was the only way to buy this house. The bank had stipulated that we had to be able to close within 2 weeks of that. It is all within the realm of possibilities that when somebody comes and looks at our house, that they could make an offer that is stipulating that we close extremely fast, which means that before we had got our house listed, I had to make sure that everything here was safe for the animals, for the livestock, for the farm animals to come. Now I've been working steadily on the inside, making sure that it is safe for our dogs and cats to be here. On Sunday, we actually brought the dogs here kind of as our maiden voyage, which was really difficult. It took both vehicles to bring everybody here because, 6 dogs, most of them are quite large. So it was kind of complicated. But so with bringing them here, we had noticed several different things that we needed to tweak, that we needed to change, that we needed to make adjustments to quite quickly for the sake of the dogs. So that is why I'm planning on getting a baseboard heater installed in the kitchen dining area. Actually 2 of them, because this space is approximately 500 square feet and the 8-foot baseboard only does, I think it's 250 square feet. So I have to get 2 of them so that way it can crank out enough heat that even when we're in this deep freeze period, like this weekend the high is only in the low teens. That's too cold for the furnace here to keep up. When we were here on Sunday with our dogs, they were freezing, even though it was like, 55, 60 degrees in here. We had the space heaters going and they were absolutely miserable because they were so cold. They were having fun, they were having enjoyment and stuff, but our pug, our little old lady, she was absolutely miserable. So I ended up having to put my coat on the floor for her, set it right up in front of a space heater so that way she could curl up in a ball in the coat and have the space heater blowing on her. She's sickly, she has cancer, and I'm just glad that she was able to make it here. We'll just say that. Yeah. We noticed that was a huge issue. Because we can only show our house on the weekends, we have basically to get our asses in gear to make it so that way this place is warm. So then that way if this weekend somebody says, hey, we want to come look at your house, it has to be safe for our dogs to come here and stay here for an extended period of time because, we live far away from the other house and it's kind of a big pain to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Plus that's really terrible on the gas mileage from the SUV. Yeah, things are a little bit complicated. Basically everything that I'm doing now, like I'm probably not even gonna paint the interior of the kitchen dining room prior to us moving in here. I might, I don't know. Because everything's so dependent upon weather, it kind of keeps dictating how I'm doing things and where I'm placing my focus and stuff. Because there are things I need to do outside, like the barn out back. The previous owner had used it as a garage. We have to use it as a barn. So that way it makes a good, efficient setup for our homestead. I have to create stalls in there. I have to frame out walls. I have to do all sorts of stuff. So I'm pretty much kind of like, oh, wow. As soon as we get a little bit of warm weather for more than a day or so, I have to just beat feet and just keep and pour out a lot of work. a lot of energy, a lot of effort. So I've basically been just sort of slow and steady within the house, trying to make tweaks and adjustments so that way it's safe for us, safe for the pets. Meanwhile, in the background, Tracy's been working on more of the like plumbing stuff. That is taking a very long time because of her working full time and only being able to come, a couple times a week and stuff. And like this weekend, because of having the dogs here, she pretty much was just running around chasing after them all weekend. So it was just kind of crazy. We forgot to bring a cable. How stupid of pet owners could we be? Like, we forgot to bring a tie out for them. So they pretty much they made this house their own. Which we had anticipated that would happen, especially with our little old lady pug, because she is very territorial, very much of, I have to go everywhere to mark my territory on everything. So yeah, a lot of messes, which we, like I said, we had anticipated that happening, but it was made way worse because we forgot a cable. Not making that mistake again. But so yeah, things are different than a normal renovation because, like I said, a lot of projects I'm putting off for when we are living here because they're projects that I really am looking forward to doing, and I don't want to do them when it's in a state of chaos still. Like, I'm planning on actually in the kitchen here, there's going to be a nice backsplash there, but today I actually just painted the drywall that was there. There was paneling there that I had taken down instead of trying to deep clean it because it was beyond cleaning. I pulled it all off and then used my multi-tool, scraped off all the excess glue, so then that way we could eventually put something nice up there. But this is how it's going to stay for a while. It's just going to stay painted because that's not a necessity. So like today I'm going to put the sink in, I'm going to cut the hole. I know I've been saying for forever that I'm going to be doing that, but it's just hasn't really been high on the priority list, mainly because I realized that the best way to clean this area over in here, like deep clean the window and all that stuff, would be to wait till I didn't have do it before I put the sink in there so I could sit there. So a lot of different things have just been bouncing all over the place for making things functional. Not necessarily for beauty, not necessarily for aesthetic purposes and stuff. Like, I don't know how fast we're going to be able to get drywall installed. So like on the collarbone shoulder injury has really been bothering me. So I have you guys sitting on top of a microwave right now. But so in the living room and in the hallway there and all that stuff, there's a whole bunch of exposed insulation. Probably just going to fast track things by slapping some plastic over it, so then that way once our cats are here, we don't have to worry about them deciding that it'd be really fun to just pull out all of the insulation. So things are going to look a little redneck, things are going to look a little hoopty, they're going to look a little janky and stuff. But also too, we don't have the budget to do anything fancy right now. We don't have the budget to do anything beyond just making it functional, making it so it's safe and suitable for habitat, or for to be inhabitable. Words. So it's just, right now we have a painted floor. Eventually it's going to be a nice floor. We're going to put linoleum down and it's going to look nice and it's going to look beautiful. But just like with any sort of transformation and stuff, it takes time. And that's why, like at the old house, whenever I was renovating it, because I knew it would take such an extended period of time, I hated filming inside. I hated bringing you guys in because it was just like depressing, to be quite honest. The energy here is so different, but that's another video for another day. So I'm gonna actually cut this off here because I'm working on doing a little bit more painting with the white primer. There was some spots that when I had sprayed in here, it didn't get good coverage. I really did not enjoy using the sprayer inside, so I'm just doing everything again with the roller, sticking with the medium that I like the best, the way that I like doing it the best. Plus too, I don't like how loud the sprayer is. It makes it so it's not as enjoyable to paint because you can't jam out to music, you can't sing your heart out, you can't dance around, all that stuff. It's just more of like locked and loaded in business mode, and I don't really care for that. Plus it makes an awful mess. But yeah, so I'm just slow and steadily rolling it out, rolling with the punches, following Mother Nature's lead. Like I said, when it's nice out, I'm going to work on the barn stuff. So it's just kind of a big eclectic mix of trying to bring everything up to code, up to, not necessarily code, but up to living standards for everybody involved. So it definitely complicates things a lot. It'd be a lot easier if we didn't already have a farm and stuff. Moving with animals and this many animals is going to be quite tricky and quite difficult. But we've done it once before, actually twice before. This is the third and hopefully final time we will ever have to move our farm, our homestead, whatever you want to call it. This just, I don't know, somebody would have to pry me away, take me out feet first out of this place, I think, for me to ever be willing to leave. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are probably going to think I'm quite agoraphobic once we move here, but it's not that I am afraid to leave. It's that I've built such a life around myself that basically I've been working for the last several years creating a perfect paradise for us, and building a life that ticks off all the boxes for us, so that way we never have a desire to have to leave, to have to seek something else. And with finding this property, it's been like every day is a perfect paradise, and I don't ever like going home, and each day it makes it so much harder to go back to the other house. Like when we had the dogs here on Sunday, like I was teary-eyed pulling out of the driveway to go back to the other house. I was like, I know we gotta go, but like, oh, I just want to stay. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to work, so that way that can be a quicker achievable thing. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.